Have you ever, as animators, filmmakers, creative artists, experienced burnout? And if you have, was there any particular self-maintenance you underwent to work through it?
I've definitely gone through that. And I think in a way I've seen it a lot working in animated commercials. It's so easy to burn out because you can just sort of kill yourself for 6 months on something and then they might not even release it, you know. And so it's kind of soul destroying sometimes. But I think the way I've always sort of tried to stay sane is to keep learning. If I learn something on a job or if I learn something each day, I feel like I'm moving forward. I'm accruing information, I'm building my tool set, and ideas always come out of learning. So even if it's just a little animation tutorial or reading something that's challenging slightly, or spending some time going to an art gallery, putting something new in my head has been useful and has allowed me to sort of grow over the years.
I really love Johnny's answer. Yeah, learning. Somehow I didn't realize it, but it works for me too. When I'm blocked on a project, I also switch tools and try different color schemes or take myself in a new zone, and somehow it's also learning, or experiment with new stuff. And also, like, really basic, down to the ground, I do a lot of exercise. Well, not too much, but at least 2 or 3 times a week I go for a run. And I have a really strict routine. I go to sleep not too late. I don't work at night because it overstimulates me. And if I don't have a good pattern sleep, a good sleep, I know that then my mood goes down. So it's pretty basic, but it helps. One other thing is the notion of pleasure. I don't take assignments now that I think I will not have fun working on it. Even if it pays a lot, that's something that I learned. If I don't have fun working, it drags me down. And that's really something that I always keep in mind. Will that be fun? And if the answer is no, I just say no.
The thing with feeling paralyzed, I feel it also comes from many people already while they're students, very much like over identifying with their work, where you feel like they draw all their self-worth from what they're making, and like from their peers having to like it and everyone having to like also on social media, etc. So I feel like if you put all your self-worth on that one pillar, then obviously if that kind of crumbles or wobbles, then you'll be in a very bad place really quickly. So I feel for me, it's been important kind of spreading it out to a couple of pillars, like also just health, exercising, all those things. But also I feel like it's been important to not see my own creativity as an opponent, but rather a partner, which means that, yeah, it should at least every once in a while, or if not every day, feel like play and not just work.
It's interesting because I don't think I've had like a burnout with the work specifically, but it's almost like I've had a burnout with just my mental health, like just like thinking too much and constantly working on stuff. So in that regards, the whole like I've really had to, especially the last couple of years, like be aware of the way I manage my my thinking and my daily habits, and make sure that I'm doing things that are actually healthy for me. And like, because it's easy to think like, oh, if I just think about or trying to fix every problem in my mind, that's like a positive thing. But it's really like it can quickly turn on you and just become this huge kind of pain in the butt. So but I haven't experienced it with work, I think. Not yet.
I think I've been really close many times. I don't think I have like experienced a proper burnout, but I think I have been really close. I think it's like the problem with animation, and like I say, it's hard. Like for me, I always struggle to like know exactly how much I can do. So and I'm quite ambitious, so I always like think that I can do much more than I can, and then I end up. For me, it's just like the problem has been like working too long days and too many evenings or in the weekends, and you start like to feel like your energy and your mental state is starting to drain a lot. And like sometimes I just have had to be like, I mean, what I've done is just to be like, okay, I have to take a day off. Like it maybe it will affect the project a bit negatively, or maybe have to compromise this scene or this thing, like these things in the film, but I like can't continue like this. I need like 1.5 days off to sleep or to see people or do other things. So I think I have managed to like push the brake just before I have been burned out a few times, and just like force myself to take a small break. But I think it's like definitely really common in animation to push yourself so hard. And also, I think when you do your personal projects, because it's like animation is actually a big teamwork. And then when you do personal projects, you sort of try to take so many roles at the same time and do them full time. And it's very easy that it becomes too much.
I think for me, yes, I wouldn't necessarily call it really burnout, because I've never had a doctor's diagnosis, but I really had, after my first year of film academy, I was really I really fell in a deep hole of like, I don't want to get up anymore in the morning. Like I lost all my motivation. So that is the reason also, or part of the reason why Tick kind of came out, the film. So I think maybe that's also why the pandemic for me was such a kind of relief, because I felt in a really dark spot of like being overwhelmed with life in general, kind of, or the work. So for me personally, I don't know if it was burnout, but I definitely was overworked. And what I found, I mean, with Tick, the film, I have to say, we learned a lot, because the film is about doing like all these crazy to-do lists. And I mean, it was really autobiographical, because I'm a huge fan of to-do lists. But it was really weird, because while we were doing that film, we were kind of doing the same mistakes that we were actually addressing in the film. So our wards were like full with like huge to-do lists, and we were just like day and night. And then we were always like, that's kind of stupid that we're like, why do we do a film about that? And that's not good. But here we are doing the same thing again. And one thing that I've learned from it, or I would say is one thing that I actually did change now in my like projects after, is that I kind of demand, or I do demand a weekend at least. Like I do say, okay, on Saturday and Sunday, I'm not reachable. Like you can call, but I'm probably not going to pick up. And for me, that was also kind of like a click when I'm working with the team, because I always felt like, in order as a director, like you kind of have to be a role model, because your team is not going to like have a weekend when you don't have a weekend, because they kind of feel like they have to do as much as you do. So for me, like in the evening saying, no, I'm done for now, like I'm going to go, kind of allows my team to do the same thing. So I feel like the shift of, I don't know, change in order of like taking care of oneself, really, it has to start with like with me, because when I do it, it kind of helps other people to be brave enough to say, yes, I'm going to go home now too. So, and that's kind of so for me, that was a huge thing. So now I'm always like, when I'm done, I'm like, okay, I'm going now. And everyone's like, okay, so I guess we will go now too. And I'm like, yes, go home, like have free time. And that was a huge learning aspect with my movie So I would say learned a lot while doing a film about burnout.
Yeah, so I think that I had similar thing about working 7 days per week and also for weekend, because I had like a lot of projects going on at this time, and so I think that I spent almost 1 month in that kind of marathon when I was working to get well with deadlines. So I was working 7 to 8 hours a day without any kind of rest on weekends. And after it, I was feeling really tired, and I think that was time when I had burnout, and then I wasn't doing any new thing for like 2 months, and then again like study exams pushed me to do something new. But thinking about this experience, I would say that having a rest is good, because working like in this kind of small marathons without any kind of rest are just tiring and are affecting your work, that you're only going like slower with it. So taking a little breaks are really good and helpful, I think. And I wouldn't work again in this kind of schedule for now.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being involved in this panel. And to everyone watching the screening, I hope you found the Q&A interesting. I know I certainly found it informative myself. Be sure to check out skwigly.com for a range of articles and podcasts where we explore these themes and subjects with the filmmakers a little more. Until then, I've been Ben Mitchell. Thank you again, and goodbye, everyone.